Greetings to all my haters, lovers, friends, and enemies alike. Today I'm going to show you my mob system. Or I'm not going to show you the system, I'm going to show you the kill chamber of the system. And we're going to take a look under the hood of each of the different controls. And I'm going to show you how they all work and what they all do. And I'm also going to show you the storage unit that I have for them, which it's a very unconventional system. It's not the most efficient either. In fact, it's far from it, but it does work. It doesn't sort the items, evidently, which is okay, whatever. I do want to note, before we begin here, that this is an old version of the world. It's not the version I'm using today. It's a version that was built shortly after the World Tour on my channel, which you'll notice if you watched it, that I went ahead and added another layer of storage here. But that's the only thing that's different. Other than that, this is the exact original design, which is why I'm using an old version, is because I wanted to stay authentic to the original design. But compared to the way it works today, it is still just as efficient, with a few changes, and I did change the whole storage system, which is partly why I'm making this video too, is to showcase the original design. So first I'm going to show you what all the different things do in the event that you didn't watch the World Tour, and then we'll look at how it was all made. So to start, we're going to look at the two gates. This controls both the top and bottom gates. This controls the bottom. This controls the top. They can also function as locks, too. Little bug there. And then we have this, which activates the water system. And that is useful for when I have, if any mob items land on the stairs here, that they'll be swept away to the hopper heaven. So, and then this, to move the platform, well, okay, that's apparently broken, but that would make them, that would turn that into an XP farm where you could hit them, which it didn't do, but it used to, so evidently something went wrong there. So, okay, well, this is an arrow kill timer. Shoots arrows at mobs that don't die, specifically when they have like feather falling and they fall and they don't die. And what you just saw was that an arrow was caught on fire, and the reason for that is because of the lava kill system. And the lava kill just kills, it does the same thing, it just kills the mobs that don't die. I'm pretty sure it also kills their drops too, but whatever. I don't really use that, but it's there in the event that I decide I want to. Yep, there you go. Dead, all of them. Alright, so now that we got that over with, let's take a look under the hood of some of these things. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and break all these stairs. Okay, so let's start with the obvious. The only way to keep these two independent from each other was to create redstone dust on the sides. And that's the reason that they're on the sides instead of right beneath them, because, you know, I could have put dust underneath and they would have activated. But to keep them independent, I have repeaters there instead. So the dust goes down and around to activate these repeaters independently. And now they both do activate that gate, but that's only because I have a repeater here coming from this side that lets me do that. If I were to get rid of that repeater, you'll notice that it, well, yeah, that's probably actually why I added the repeaters, because it does kind of break there, because it activates that. I don't know why, so I added the repeater, so I don't know. Again, this design's over a year old, so I don't quite recall everything, but I do know that that's probably, looking at it, that's probably why I went ahead and added that. And for security reasons too, because when you do that, mobs can actually fall into the water, and they won't lose any damage. So it is helpful to have the gate up there just in the event that a creeper falls and boom, you're dead. which I did have that happen a few times before this was completed. But anyway, this also activates the two pistons that let the water out, which the redstone spirals down there to do that. Oh, I don't want to break anything, but evidently I'm going to have to. Alright, so let's take a look down here. So the system is very simple. Right now the pistons are extended. They're extended by default because of here. So what happens is when you send power to these repeaters, it powers this block and turns these torches off, which is what brings the pistons down. So that is how that works. For those of you who maybe aren't entirely familiar with how that works. Okay, so great. Next is this, controls both gates. Very, very simple. I have a piece of dust here that just runs right around and connects to this dust. And then I also have a piece of dust on top, which evidently had redstone on it. But yeah, you can see it just goes up there and does that. But okay. And then this is the same thing. It's pretty much connected to the same wire that activates those. But for clarity's sake, I'll go ahead and get up there and show you. Yeah, you can. It's pretty much the same thing that you see down here. This activates the dust, which activates a repeater. Well, of course, this already activates that since it's right next to it. So you can see there's only one repeater that's needed to activate the other one. Other than that, it's just very simple dust work. So nothing really too complicated there. But I just broke it, so. Okay, next up, we'll look at this one. So there's two pistons on each side. And the pistons are retracted by default. So the way it works is this has dust here, runs into this block, which, what does it do? I just broke. Okay, great. Okay, well, that's the end of that, evidently. That's okay. I'll replace it when we get to that part. But anyway, I don't know what I was doing. So the repeater goes to that, which activates this piston. It also activates this piston as well, I think. I'm not sure. Because, well, what you'll notice is that the wire running down here, I originally had it connected to this that would deactivate that and activate that, which would extend it, which would work, only it doesn't quite work like that. So you'll notice it still activates. Let me go ahead and put this up just in case. Still activates, but it's not by that, which leads me to believe, even though I don't know entirely how that's happening, I am almost definitely sure it has to do with this repeater. In fact, the best way to find out is to get rid of it. And indeed, it is the repeater powering those blocks, so great. I learned something new today, too. The rest of the dust goes down, spirals down, goes all the way across to the other side, which we will see here when we... Yeah, so that's broken. What's new? Okay, well, we didn't want to do that. Let's go ahead and replace that. But you know what, I can break these. Yeah, so it's the same thing here. The repeaters are running into those blocks, which activate those torches. So that's how that works. The lava kill system, also very simple. It's just a wire that's running all the way around the back of all this nonsense, and it is pulling that block back. Same thing, it's deactivating a torch because the piston is extended by default, so it's pulling it back, so it's deactivating that torch. So, okay. And that's pretty much it for the controls here. It's fairly simple. You can see how everything's kind of intertwined. Let's take a look at the arrow system, which is very, very simple. But for those of you who don't know how clocks work, I'll go ahead and show it to you. So when you activate the lever, this torch deactivates. When this torch deactivates, this whole wire deactivates. Now this repeater is activating this block, which is what deactivates this torch. Now if this repeater's off, this torch reactivates again. And when this torch reactivates, it sends a pulse to this redstone again, which turns that on, which deactivates that again. So if you didn't catch on what I just said, why don't we just have a look, and you can see how it works. It's turning it on and off, and every time this has a pulse, it sends a pulse to the dispenser, which I'm out of arrows. Now, you do have to keep it on 2 ticks. That's very important, because otherwise it'll go too fast. See, it burns out. And you don't want it to burn out, so you have to have it on 2 ticks, very important. But other than that, it's very simple. Okay, well, that's all done. Oh, and I'm out of arrows too. Okay. Well, next thing to show you guys is the storage system. Again, it's an old storage system. I have since redone the storage system, but I'm going to show it to you because it is different than what you may see in most designs. And in doing so, I'll have to replace the whole thing because I just obviously broke it. So the way it works, well, this turns that on and off. And I originally had it like that so that it could collect items. Because the way it would work is it would actually only take one item at a time, go around the entire track, which goes around the top here, under each of these hoppers, which I'll have to go under to replace the track that I broke. Like an idiot. But, okay, well, right here. And it goes around on top of each of the hoppers and drops items in. Now, because of this setup, the way it works is it fills up this entire chest first, and then once this is all filled, then it goes to this one, and then to this one, and then to this one, and so on. And the reason it does that is because, like I said, normally it would only hold one item at a time, but I'm turning it off to let it fill up. But I usually just leave it on all the time. Now, if it has multiple items in it, it does, you know, it adds one item to each hopper, but it usually doesn't. I usually keep it on all the time, which it still keeps up relatively well, but it only picks up one item at a time every time it comes here, which is why it's not very efficient. But it did keep up for the first year until it stopped keeping up, and then I redid it, and I ran out of space. So you can see it's very simple. That's how it works, and it just goes around collecting items and putting them in. And the other thing too was that keeping it on like this did cause a little bit of lag, so the new system doesn't actually use a railway at all, so that's important. So that's the whole system. It doesn't sort the items too. My new system sorts it, but we'll look at that at a later date. I think that's about all the controls actually in here. Well, that's not important. So yeah, okay, well, oh, that's right, I broke the redstone. Alright, hope you all enjoyed. You may have already been familiar with everything in here, but if not, then I hope you maybe learned something new today, and if nothing else, enjoyed taking a look at a different construction, maybe getting some inside information on a different design. Maybe one that you hadn't seen before, or I'm not sure. I don't know. You know, it's like reading a book. You get whatever you get out of it. So, great. It is worth noting that even though I have changed the storage unit since this version of the world, which this version's from November last year, so it's pretty much a year old. The system is still just as authentic as it is now here before, meaning that I haven't changed any of the other wiring. I haven't changed anything else of the system. It is a construction that I am, even to this day, the most proud of in this world because it did require a lot of different redstone work, and it has a lot of features. So, plus it is the most efficient mob farm I have today, because you know, in a year's time I've lit more stuff up and just, you know, the rates have increased and got higher. So it's a pretty great system. It doesn't take care of witches very well, but I mean that would be the only flaw. But that's because I originally had it designed to be an XP farm too, just to have that option, which, as we've learned today, doesn't work anymore. So that goes to and that just goes to show how much I actually care to use that. But you know, just giving options. Anyway, I will try and get to making more Techtropolis videos so you guys can see more stuff that I built in more detail. Feel free to check out the old Let's Play that has, I think, the first 26 episodes of the construction of this world. And also check out the world tour of this world if you have not already, so you can see kind of where we're at and everything else that's here. And I'll try and make more videos, and hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.